This is Business Focus with the award-winning Kwesi Asare.
Tonight, I've got another exclusive interview with you, and pretty shortly I'll be introducing my guest to you. He is a Ghanaian business mogul and philanthropist who has risen to become a very successful businessman. He was born in a village in Ghana's Upper East region, and he's into all sorts of businesses, which includes real estate, pharmaceuticals, roofing sheets, commodities, and agrochemicals. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest on the program tonight is Alhaji Seidu Agongo. Good evening, Alhaji.
Good evening, Kwesi. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
It's been a long time.
Yes. I've read a lot about Alhaji Seidu Agongo, and it's really good to be interviewing you for the very first time.
Thank you.
What have you been up to?
It's been caught for the past 8 years. Business is slow, and we are surviving. So basically, we're just putting things together to see how best we can live.
Who's Alhaji Seidu Agongo?
Alhaji Seidu Agongo is a businessman, a man who never gives up, a man who is determined to make things work, no matter the circumstances, and a man who is determined for all sort of things. That is, you are born into a world that you think there's a need for you to make the world a different place than you came to meet it. And that is what I stand for.
In the introduction, I talked about you owning a number of businesses, including real estate, pharmaceuticals, roofing sheets, commodities, and agrochemicals. When did you start your businesses?
Yes, so Kwesi, Africa is such that sometimes it becomes difficult when you start life. Where to channel your energy becomes a problem because there are so many challenges. Challenges like we are made to believe that you either have to just go to school and become who you want to become. But normally that's not the issue. You understand me? Because I believe that we are all created with a particular intuitions in us. Everybody has something to offer. I hope you are getting me. So I started my business life in Bema camp. That was where I stayed with my uncle.
At the military station?
Yes, Bema camp. I stayed at block 4, room 12 with my uncle. So, we have these things that this military or these soldiers go to Lebanon. They buy things like cornmeal, freezer, TV sets, air conditions. Normally they buy it, come and sell. When they go for operations, they pay them in dollars. That is UN operations. They pay them in dollars. They buy those things, bring it to Ghana here to come and sell. So I started with that business in Bema camp. And most people still remember me, still know me, and knows that that was the business I was doing. So that was how my business life started. From there, I jumped into borrowing money to soldiers. Yes, because those days is not like these days. Even these days, it's still difficult to access loans from bank. So I take their paychecks and give them loans so that at the end of the month, I go to the bank, I fast, deposit the money, the check at the bank. Once pay office pays on the 15th, I take my money out and move on. So that is what I've been doing in Bema camp, Laboni, Legon, IPS. That is what I've been doing. And my business year started when I was even 16 years. Yes, very early. Yes. So determined to make it. Basically, that is what has gotten me to where I am.
These companies still operate?
Yes. Sarago is gone down a bit. That's the rice business gone down a bit. Pharmaceutical, yes. The factory is operating. Agro is operating. Real estate is operating. But it went down a bit because I was thinking that most of these businesses, they are not structured. When I say they're not structured, you understand me? It becomes like me and you, our mother, father, the sort of business that they do. So it's like when the owner is no more, the business is gone. So I was thinking of entering into a more structured business. It's only structured business that can grow. It can outlive you.
It's going to be banking.
Banking, yes, you're right. So most of these monies were used as part of the capital to enter into the banking industry.
We'll talk a bit about the banking shortly, but so you talk about these businesses, about 6 of them, and I'm sure they fall under a conglomerate.
Yes,
Zira Group. The Zira Group.
Yes.
Okay. So how many workers do you have in total?
For now, I think about 1,800, yes.
You pay 1,800 people every
month. When I add the media, there are a lot.
You've got a media business as well.
Yes.
The class group of companies.
The class group of companies.
Right. Why did you get into media?
Media is not to make money. You understand me? Because if you look at it now, we are where we are because education has been less. When I say education, human beings are such that you have to waken yourself up to realities. Because there's no rocket science. You are human. And you have to live up to your best in life. And all these things happened based on the education that you come across. Like you talking to me now. You now get to sleep and think, okay, this man said this man said that. That awakens you. So you realize that who Kwesi is today is based on what happens in your environment, what you've heard, what people have said. So I entered into the media to see how best I can change lives. I can transform the country, change our concept of thinking, our concept of understanding, which has always been selfish. Greed. Change that concept. Because that doesn't end you well. It's only when you give, that's the only way you can grow. Because if you look at the basic creation of God, it's all given. Mango, water, the river, rain, it's all given. So the basic concept is given. Until you are educated enough to understand the reality of life, which myself and you are in now, you won't get to understand the concept. It's only when you can understand the concept that you can work very well to get whatever you're looking for in life.
The Bank of Ghana in 2019.
You won't get to understand the concept. It's only when you can understand the concept that you can work very well to get whatever you're looking for in life.
The Bank of Ghana in 2019 revoked your bank's license.
Yes.
That was Heritage Bank.
Yes.
It was a bank that you had started.
Yes.
How did you take that news?
Personally, I'm the type that I always see anything that happens that is meant to happen. I don't grudge things that happen. In as much as it will be hurtful, I felt like, okay, this is what has happened. What do? I just have to face the reality. They've revoked the license. What did I do wrong? I don't know.
You should know what you did wrong.
So
you should know. You should know.
I might know based on their perspective, not based on my perspective. In my perspective,
so let me tell you what the central bank said you did wrong.
Yes.
The central bank says your bank, that's Heritage Bank, was overexposed to its majority shareholder at the time, which I think it's you. You had close to 70% shares in that business.
Yes.
The central bank also said that you did not pass the fit and proper test.
Yes.
And I'd imagine it was in relation to a prosecution in a 271 million cedi cocoa board fertilizer scandal in which you were involved.
Yes.
The bank said that you had a questionable stated capital aside your inability to meet their new 400 million stated capital requirement.
Yes.
You knew.
All these things, I don't know where it's coming from, but I see them, all this they said as they wanted something to just use against me.
Why would you say so?
No, because Bank of Ghana has been in existence for how long now? I'm a private person and I applied and I had a license. I'm not a regulator. I'm a businessman who think of the fact that, okay, banking is a sector that I can grow it within the sub-region. Look, we're sitting in Ghana here. Look at Nigerian banks. They're almost everywhere. Can you count any of Ghanaian bank anywhere? No. So I'm not a regulator. I applied. I want a banking license. You bring your conditions. I meet each one by one. Bank of Ghana has got a forensic unit that defines who becomes fit and proper. You don't just take any money to Bank of Ghana and they'll give you a banking license. Whatever you tell them, they check. So after checking and giving me the license, within a year time, you now come and tell me that I'm not fit and proper. Which English is this? You understand me? When we do this, we kill the soul of the basic foundation of the economy. Because I could have taken the money to Dubai, Guyana. I could have gone to establish something somewhere. Who hold me? Even Nigeria, even Togo.
Indeed, you're reported to have said that the Bank of Ghana had crushed your dream
Yes.
of building a continental brand that would have competed with international banks in and outside of Ghana.
Yes, yes.
You maintain that?
Yes, yes. I maintain that because, like I was saying, we are strong beings. It's just that we are limiting ourselves. We are very strong. What you think of, what you plan, what you work for, you can achieve it. I don't see why Stand Chart will grow to Ghana, grow to Nigeria, grow to Abidjan, and Ghanaian banks can expand. So at the end of the day, when I set up my bank, if you look at the structure of my board, I constituted a board that can stand with time. Strong board. At a time, I even applied for loan, and they rejected it. And I didn't have, own bank? Yes. I didn't have any problem with them because they were doing their work. Because if you look at Alex Ashiago, ex-governor of Bank of Ghana, he was my board member. Dr. Kwesi,
the respected economist.
Yes. You look at Benson Nuchupi. These are all people that stands out within Ghana. Why would they be part of a board that the license of that bank was fraudulently acquired?
They wouldn't have known. They couldn't have known. If
no, they'll do their checks because to sit here and talk.
Not fit and proper possibly means that you were engaged in a scandal and was being prosecuted by the courts.
No, I beg to differ. Not fit and proper means that the standard that they used to judge human being, I don't fit that.
And you reject that?
I reject that. That's very insulting. To be very honest with you, it's so insulting. How do you tell a businessman who started his business at the age of 16 years, having built, imported rice, imported sugar, I wake up 4 a.m. and go to work, only to work to establish a corporate institution just for you to come and tell me I'm not fit and proper? Where is this English coming from? That is why I said I could have taken the money outside, but I believe that, okay, God knows why I was created in Ghana here, so why don't I use the resources to build Ghana? So that is why. So at the end of the day, if I'd invested somewhere, would you have even known me, let alone for you to describe me as not fit and proper? No.
How would you respond to those who say you are bitter?
If I'm not fit and proper, why were you asking me to merge with other banks? The same bank that was not fit and proper. Why were you asking us to merge with other banks?
No, that's still an allegation you're making against the central bank.
No, you can.
Which we cannot verify.
No, you can ask Edison. You can ask him, you can verify. All I'm saying here is going to be something that will be forever.
Right.
I'm not bitter. My bitterness is not based on myself because I'm very humble and I'm content. Even today, even I don't have a car, bicycle, I ride it. I'm a very content person. But I'm bitter because Heritage Bank would have given all the banking industry in Ghana here the competition that they would never match it. Have you entered into any of our branches before?
Got a magnificent building.
Yes. So all these things came out of planning. Because the major success of a business is not what you see. It's the planning that was done behind the scene.
So for you, whatever prosecution you were going through, was still pending and had absolutely nothing to do with the central bank.
Nothing. Because, okay, go to central bank now and say you want to open up. They will check the source of your funding. They even wrote a letter to Cocoa Board to find out that I said I have this amount pending. Cocoa Board responded. Every stage, they went to my school, to Adontin Secondary School, to check on my history, my record.
You're kidding me?
They went to Laboni to check. All these things were systematically checked. And in all, positive. So at what point that I became not fit and proper? A change of government? Or you perceive me to belong to a particular government?
But the central bank is a central bank, regardless of a change in government.
I pray that we do something about this country. Other than that, we will go nowhere. Because look at it now. You today, you can become the central bank governor if John Dramani Mahama wants you to become the central. It's just a matter of appointing you. It's just a matter of going through parliament. It's just a matter of they approving you. So at the end of the day, whatever His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wants you to do, you execute it. Because at the end of the day, he's the one who appointed.
But the central bank and the governors are supposed to be independent
They are supposed to, but the reality is they are not. You know it.
I don't know it. You were saying it.
Oh, whoever that appoints you hold the key to your actions. And that doesn't work.
But the Bank of Ghana is established to be an independent body,
That is
a constitutionally mandated body to be independent, just like the Electoral Commission.
I agree on that. But that's why I said the basic concept of appointment makes it not to be independent. How do I appoint you and say you be independent? You do whatever I ask you to do. If I ask you
And
to
so
kneel
you think
somebody,
your charges and what happened to your bank was politically motivated?
yes, they were asked to nail me. Because look at it now. You collapsed my bank because I just have a case in court. Not that verdict has been given against me. What do you think about that? You collapse an institution, a business entity created by a private person, gone through processes, gotten license to establish, employ Ghanaians that are working there. You just collapse it because the owner has a case in court. Does it sound well? Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking differently.
I'll come back to you on this conversation. You're still watching Business Focus, your most authoritative business and economic analysis program. My name is Kwesi Asare. My guest on the program is Alhaji Seidu Agongo, the man behind Heritage Bank. We're talking about, the man Seidu Agongo and what he stands for. If you just tune in, we've been talking about the Heritage Bank and the decision by the central bank to revoke his license. When we return, I'll find out from him why he's decided to come out now. He's faced 8 years of court appearances. The new government, led by John Dramani Mahama, has just recently, through the Attorney General, essentially dropped all the charges against him. We'll find out what he makes of that and what's the future for Seidu Agongo going forward. We'll be right back. My guest tonight is Alhaji Seidu Agongo, a businessman and philanthropist, the man behind Heritage Bank, the bank that had its license revoked by the central bank sometime in 2019. So call a friend to tune into TV3 because we're having a very interesting conversation tonight. Mr. Agongo, welcome back. So you've been in court for the last 8 years.
Yes.
How has this impacted your life and your other businesses?
I want you to also learn this. You know, most troubles that we get into is because of attachment. I'm not attached to anything. Yes, trust me, I'm not attached to anything. I only attach things that will evolve to be impactful. So I have taken a cue from this, and I see life as eventually we will leave everything on this world. Have you been to the mortuary before?
I have.
Okay. Have you seen somebody who has become the president and gone to opposition before?
I have.
Okay. You know Queen Elizabeth?
I do.
The past one.
I do.
So basically, whatever we acquire in this world is to make an impact. Because if you come to look at it, possession, one day it will all vanish. And before you can become who you want to become, you have to experience life. You don't run away from life. And all challenges are to build you up. Your enemies are even building you up, trust me. Because it's only when they criticize you, challenge you, that is when the Kwesi in you comes out. You understand me? So it's been tough, but I welcome it. I've become more of a better person than before. Because I now understand
Did you
life.
at any point in time imagine yourself going to jail?
Yes, it got to a point that you even have relatives and people that you think should stand before you telling you that they will jail you. But nevertheless, I said to myself, I'm not the first and the last person to go to jail. And I know what...
So you were prepared for jail?
No, you have to prepare for everything because those there...
But if you're innocent, why would you think you'd be prosecuted then?
Because the system...
And sent to jail?
Okay, the system, I always call it the metrics. They don't want you. They can kneel you.
Really?
You don't know that.
An innocent man?
Yes, you can be kneeled because the system wants you kneeled. Just because in their perspective, you don't deserve it. You don't belong. Who are you? Who is your grandfather? Who is your grandmother? Why are you using 2012 Land Cruiser?
But your trial has taken 8 long years.
Yes. No, because...
It means there was due process.
Yes, I'm not doubting the process, because the fact is that today governance, until we do something about the constitution, they will use the process to truncate your life.
I see.
Yes. It's only through the process they use to truncate your life.
Mr. Seidu Agongo, you're telling me that regardless of all the allegations and accusations against you, you're completely innocent.
Very innocent.
In the matter of the fertilizer, the 271 million cedis fertilizer with cocoa board.
Trust me.
You delivered on that.
Very, very, very innocent, because all the goods that they were charging me on, we supplied it and they used it. So even let's assume we reverse it, okay, I have the 270 million. Go and bring my fertilizer. They couldn't have even traced 1 liter. It's been used. You gave me what first contract, I executed. You paid me. You gave me second contract, I executed. You paid me. You gave me third contract, I executed. You paid me. Only to take me to court to tell me that the first, second, third that I executed and you paid me, the fertilizer was adulterated after you've used it. It's just like going to the wache joint and Timoni, go and buy the wache. After you paid chop finish, then you tell Antimoni, say, wache self not correct. Where is this English coming from? But just that, like I said, as a citizen, a law-abiding citizen, whatever the government of the day wants to do, you abide by it, but just look up to God.
You must have been powerful or connected to very high people in political positions to have been targeted by a new government. Don't you think so?
I won't call it powerful, and I don't see anybody who is powerful. A young man like you can equally become powerful when you build relationship very well. Ghanaians have said that it's only when they benefit from you that they try to, or if I know today or the next week or in 6 months' time, Kwesi will become Bank of Ghana governor or the president. That's how Ghanaians are. But I sincerely believe that relationship is key. Whether or not the person will become whoever, let's just build a good relationship.
You don't think
Offer
that
help.
you don't think that as a businessman to have been targeted by a government, as you say it, could possibly have meant that you must have been politically exposed?
I don't think so. Like I said, their actions were based on assumption. And I can't determine what you assume.
You're suggesting that you were not politically exposed?
I don't think so, because at the end of the day, what makes somebody politically exposed? We have to define that before I accept myself be in that shoe. If you don't define that, is it because umbrella, or is it because at what point do we determine whether somebody is politically exposed?
Are you a member of the umbrella? Are you NDC?
I'm a businessman.
You are more sympathetic
Yes.
towards the NDC.
Yes.
You've got more friends within the NDC.
Yes.
And that should not disenfranchise you from
And
doing business.
reliable friends, of course.
And that should not disenfranchise you from doing business.
No, sitting here, I'm determined to do business with Tinubu in Nigeria. I'm determined to go to Congo. I'm determined to go to Abidjan. Because Ghana is just 31 million people. Whoever sits here and do business and think he's rich, I think the person is just tickling himself and laugh. 31 million Ghanaians. Whatever you are selling is only 10 to 15% of the population can buy. So let's even assume you are selling groundnut, 10 15% of the population can buy. How many are you getting?
In terms of volumes.
Yes, compare that to Ghana being like Lagos.
South Africa.
No, hey, so you
Kenya.
understand me? We've not developed our export routes, nothing. Even taking goods from here to Togo. It's more difficult than bringing goods from Germany to Ghana. I hope you are getting what I'm meaning. So, we as Ghanaians, we need to live up to the reality and shoulder competition, because I believe in the Ghanaian concept of a business person.
So some would ask, why is Seidu Agongo deciding to talk now? It's been 8 long years.
Okay, so talking now is something that I have been thinking and wondering,
Because I do recall that, I have made approaches to you in times past, wanting to hear your story, and I haven't had a very favorable response.
Yes, you're right. When I met Crow that is, during the investigation with Yoko, they asked, who are you? And I said, I'm Seidu Agongo. Why are you not known? I said, hey, known as in how? They said, oh, we don't see you anywhere. But if you look at
That is true.
your properties and the companies haven't opened up a bank, how can I justify to them that the capital of the bank, all my landed properties, a whole lot belongs to me? And I said, do they know Zuckerberg? I say, yes. I say, can he justify what he owns at his age? He says, that is a developed country. I said, that is a developed country. Define developed and define developing. And tell me, if somebody is in develop and somebody is in developing, who is more likely to succeed? And that is when the person started nodding his head. So that's when I say, oh, the fact that people don't talk to you to know what you've gotten, what the Almighty God, Allah, your ancestors have built in you, they underrate you. So one day, I'll come out.
And the day is now.
The decision. Yes.
Last week, the Attorney General dropped all charges against you. Essentially, he filed a nolle prosequi in your case, which says that he will discontinue the case against you. That's good news for you.
Very good news.
Did you expect it?
Yes, it's making me have the feeling that no condition is permanent.
Did you influence that decision?
No, I think everybody witnessed our process of adjudicating our case in Ghana here. I have judges that call me, I have lawyers, I have civil society that call me and say, oh, be strong, all will go well. There are people that don't support the system, but you understand me? It's like, if it doesn't affect Kwesi, he doesn't care. It's only when it affects you that it touches human. So I was happy, and I was expecting it. I know one day I'll be vindicated, because my principle of business is execute the tax and make profit.
But wouldn't you have rather the courts discharge or acquit and discharged you, instead of the Attorney General deciding to drop all charges and not giving anybody any reason for that decision?
In my perspective, the court has no case. If you go into the history of my case in courts, any judge that has adjudicated my case has been promoted.
Can you say that again?
I can say that any judge that I have sat before to hear my case has been promoted. The current Justice Abuaji Tando has been promoted to appeal court.
Your point is what?
My point is deal. Do you know what's a deal? We are striking a deal. Do this and I'll do this. That's what I think.
But they could have struck the deal to jail you then.
Which they did. It's only when I allowed them. You know, that's why I say human beings, we have strong spirit that our spirit, if you stand firm, your spirit will protect you and nobody can do any harm to you, provided you are innocent. And I see business as do the work and make your profit and move out. But don't destroy. Because that money you are looking for in business is for you to build an empire, to build a legacy. It's just like you looking for money. It's to use the money to educate your child, right? Okay. So why do you steal to educate your child? The source of the money is not acceptable. So the child might become a drunkard, a weed smoker, would destabilize. I don't know whether to get what I'm meaning. That is how life works. Once we get to understand this concept, trust me, we'll live well and be able to go well.
His Excellency the President, John Dramani Mahama, had said, in times past, even before assuming office as president, as a matter of policy, actually, they had said that they were going to try and restore the licenses of some of the collapsed banks. We don't know how they're going to be doing that, but many people I have spoken to have said to me that it was regrettable that your bank, Heritage Bank, had to be added to the lot. Would you want your license back?
Of course, why not? Because like I said, life is a journey. We all have dreams. Maybe you like to sit on yours, but we all have dreams.
You still want to build that,
that
competitive brand,
of course,
that will compete with other multinationals,
of course,
across.
Of course. We fail because of our inconsistency. We fail because we change decisions. But when you are consistent, you get there.
So you're all ready?
Very ready. And it's a legacy that I want to leave. That's the banking industry, banking education.
So what are you going to do about it? I mean, we don't know how they're going to do this, but are you going to see the president? Are you going to lobby to have your license back?
It's not lobbying. It's not lobbying. I won't call it lobbying, because the fact is that why will you collapse a bank that was solvent? When I say solvent, a bank that doesn't depend on central bank for support, a bank that doesn't use customers' money, the bank itself has its own capital. Why will you?
No, but at least at the time, the governor said that although you had the stated capital aside,
yes,
you were unable to meet the new 400 million capital requirement.
All those banks that exist now, have they met it? Do your checks. All the banks that exist, I don't want to mention banks' name, have they met it? And in any case, if I'm not able to meet it, the only way is to just slaughter me. Can't we have a more human approach, a more dignified approach, a more Ghanaian approach? Because it's Ghanaians that are working there. Now, do you have an idea as to those that were employed in my bank? Some are taxi drivers. Some, it's like their dreams shattered, affected their kids, their family. But you, the governor, you are taking salaries, taking your earnings. And you think it's fair. And God will just, or creation or nature or the universe will accept this. You know, most of the consequential effects in our life, sometimes we blame devil, but it goes round. Whatever comes round goes round.
You're still watching Business Focus, your most authoritative business and economic analysis program here on TV3. My guest on the program tonight is Alhaji Seidu Agongo, the man behind Heritage Bank. He says he would love to have his license back. We're going to go for a short break and come back to wrap up this conversation. When we return, we'll talk about his philanthropy work. He's been engaged in a lot of philanthropic activities over the years. I asked him a question about whether or not he was bitter. He said yes, he was bitter about the fact that he's been unable to live his dream of building that very competitive brand that will, you know, rub shoulders with other multinational banks. When we return, I'll ask him a few questions on that and what he feels about the former governor of the central bank, Dr. Ernest Addison. We'll be back shortly. If you haven't tuned in yet, I told you to call a friend to call a friend. I've got Alhaji Seidu Agongo, the celebrated businessman, sometimes very controversial also, and philanthropist. He's here talking to me about his business and all he's been through over the last 8 years. Mr. Agongo, welcome back.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kwesi.
You said that your bank was collapsed at a time you didn't expect. How many workers did you have at the time?
Heritage Bank, I think about 150 to 200.
And you had built branches across?
Yeah, branches. At that time, we have about 6, 7 branches. I can't recollect. Swami branch, Tema branch, East Legon branch, Jowlu branch, Aboso Okai branch, Nima branch. Yes.
And you had a vision?
Vision, strong vision. Trust me. And you know, the world is built with vision, you know, right? And it starts with one person, right? Dubai, one person, right? Yes.
I know you've also been involved in a number of philanthropic work. Tell me about it.
Yes, like I said, whatever acquired on this earth, one day you leave it. So every acquisition, you should think of how best you make impact on humanity. You know, we as Ghanaians, or some of us, always see my wife, my kids, my girlfriend, my mom, my dad. I see that as inward looking. Yes, because the fact is that in as much as you are achieving your dream, there are other dream seekers that would also like to achieve theirs. You understand me? Let's assume I have one boy called Frederick. Frederick is at Yale now doing law. Yes. And I'm so proud of that boy that he did law in Ghana here, passed very well, applied to Yale, had admission, I paid, and he's there. Can you imagine if that guy finishes school today? His wife, kids, and the entire family wouldn't go through the difficulties that Frederick Adongo went through when Alhaji Seidu met him. The whole family would have been transformed. How do you see that? Let's even assume I'm dead by then and I'm in my grave and I imagine this. Don't you think it's enough happiness for me than me acquiring houses, having 10 girlfriends, or doing unnecessary things with money? Don't you think so? I have another person to call Buedu. He did BSc Agric in KNUST. Very brilliant guy. I supported him, sponsored his education. Talking to you now, I'm planning to establish him into the agric sector. Because Ghana can only grow. Trust me, first priority is the agric sector.
I know you also contributed to the building of the outpatient department block. Is it at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital?
Yes. Yes, I went there one day and I realized that the kids were just, I don't know, but the place was so small. So I decided that what do we do? I wrote a letter to them. They say, yes, they have a land, but they don't have the money to build. So I said, I took it up. So now, doing that now, it has helped them. Helped them in the sense that your wife now can go there and give birth, that the kids will not be together because they have so much infections when they are born and they live well. So impactfulness is something that I've always dreamed for, and I'll do it. I'll do it. Even if it's my last penny, I'll do it. And in fact, that's the reason that even motivates me to work very hard. Because I feel like a lot of people are struggling. What can I do to help them? And that engineers me, gives me sleepless nights. Yes.
If you came across the former governor of the central bank, Dr. Ernest Addison,
Yes.
what would you tell him if you met him face to face?
I'll thank him so much. He's done well. No, because he's helped me. To be very honest with you, it's not everything that happens to you that is negative. Oh. Go to work, let them sack you. Go home, think about yourself. And it's not every struggling. You know, the reason why some Ghanaians, we struggle is that small difficulties, then we give up. Small difficulties, then we give up. But let me be very honest with you. Your success comes out of difficulties. Can you imagine His Excellency John Dramani Mahama saying that, okay, Ghanaians, you voted me out, I won't go again. Can you imagine the sort of thing they said about him? He would have given up. Oh, but persistency and consistency. He's now the president.
You mean you thank Ernest Addison?
Yes, of course. I thank him so much. He's done well. Because
for prosecuting?
No,
for taking your license?
I'm saying that because the force now that I'm coming out now with is like a Panasonic force. Nobody can stop me.
It would crush anybody.
Of course, because the vision, it has to be achieved. It's for the masses. It's unstoppable.
Seidu Agongo, thank you very much.
Thank you too. Thank you too.
My guest on the program tonight has been Alhaji Seidu Agongo, the man behind Heritage Bank. Of course, this interview is going to be streaming live on our YouTube page, on Facebook as well. Also live on DSTV channel 279. My name is Kwesi Asare. Thanks very much for watching.
This is Business Focus with